Hello everyone, I hope you're doing great. My name is Mandar Chakrabarti, and for nearly about 4 years now, I have been a faculty in the Electronics and Communication Engineering domain, where I mainly teach subjects pertaining to the areas associated with wireless communication systems. If you are interested in the world of wireless communication systems and how it all functions, then this tutorial series is meant for you. So without any further delays, let's get started. I would like to welcome you to ECC501 Electromagnetic Waves. This is the first in a series of lectures related to the subject of electromagnetic wave theory. Now, electromagnetic field theory or electromagnetic waves is not a subject of electronics, but rather a subject of physics, where the applications of electromagnetic waves in the domain of electronics engineering is tremendously vast. Now, at this point, if I were to summarize what this particular subject is all about, then I will say, in a nutshell, this entire subject revolves around these four equations. You see, these four equations together are known as the Maxwells Equations, and together they define the behavior of electricity and magnetism. To say that these equations are intricate is definitely an understatement. But these four equations are also superbly elegant. It is these four equations that drive the entire modern world of wireless systems. Anything which is wireless, which you utilize on a daily basis, is driven by these four equations. The entire economy of the modern world is built on these four equations. Intrigued yet? Now, my primary objective in this particular tutorial is to help you understand the intricacy as well as elegance of these four equations. To any layman, these equations are just a jumble of random symbols. So before we can actually dive into these equations, we need to take a few steps in the backward direction. After all, to understand how Maxwell's equation controls electricity and magnetism, we need to know first what electricity and magnetism actually is, at least from a basic physics perspective. Now let's quickly look through an overview of the topics which we shall be covering throughout the course of this particular lecture series. So you see, we shall start off with vector analysis. Vector analysis as a subject is taught extensively in the plus 2 levels, as well as in the first years of engineering through the subject of engineering mathematics. Electromagnetic waves relies heavily on vector analysis, and thus this particular portion plays a crucial role in the understanding of this subject. And therefore, we shall have a quick recapitulation of the basic topics of vector analysis once again. After that, we move into electrostatics and magnetostatics and into electromagnetic theory, and we have a detailed discussion into the Maxwell's theory and how they control the physics of motion of an electromagnetic wave through the derivation of the Helmholtz wave equations. Finally, we are going to move into some of the applications of electromagnetic waves in the form of transmission lines. Now, transmission lines carry electromagnetic waves from one point, also known as the source, to another point, also known as the destination. And lastly, we are going to have a basic introduction into one of my personal favorite areas, antenna theory. And this is what lies at the heart of all wireless systems. So let's get started. So when we think of world of wireless technology, one of the first things that comes to our mind is of course something with which our day starts off in the morning, at least definitely for me, and that is checking our mobile phones. And that brings me to one of the buzzwords which is very relevant in the current world of wireless technology, 5G. Another one, our trusty Wi-Fi routers, and access to the whole wide world of the internet. But wireless technology not only orients around Wi-Fi or 5G, but rather wireless technology orients around an entire host of systems. It deals with the FM radio channels we listen to while we drive in our cars. It deals with the television signals we receive at our homes through Dish TV and Tata Sky on our rooftops. The devices which we use for our convenience, like for example, a wireless mouse or a wireless keyboard. Another one of the current buzzwords, smart home, or basically a connected home with wireless security systems, wireless lights, smart lights, and all of them connected through a Google Home or an Alexa device. So as you can see, wireless technology revolves around almost every aspect of our modern life. But it should be interesting to note that wireless technology is not something new. Why don't you take a look at this one? How many of you are familiar with this device? Now I'm pretty sure that the younger viewers of this audience are going to be a bit puzzled by this device. This is known as a Yagi-Yuta antenna. It was utilized in the 1980s and 1990s for receiving television signals. Now the modern day system has completely evolved. This is something which should be more familiar with the younger viewers of this. Dish TV. Now, at the beginning of this video, I told you how the entire modern world runs on electromagnetic theory and how we utilize it on a daily basis without even realizing it. In fact, you are most probably utilizing it right now, watching this video on your mobile phones. Now, since we are on the topic of mobile phones, let us consider something different. How does a mobile phone call work? So, for example, let us consider a young man is calling his wife. This young man stays in the US while his wife stays right here in India. So let's take a look at the technology behind this particular phone conversation. So basically what this young man is saying is being transmitted wirelessly by his mobile phone, and it is received by the nearest base transceiver antenna. This transceiver antenna is receiving all the wireless signals from all the mobile phones within its area of operation. Now, this antenna transmits all this data to the nearest telephone exchange. But this particular transmission does not take place wirelessly. Rather, it utilizes transmission lines. More specifically, it utilizes optical fibers. Now, optical fibers is slightly beyond the scope of this particular syllabus, and therefore it will not be discussed extensively throughout this particular lecture series. Now, this telephone exchange takes this particular call and transmits it wirelessly to a satellite which is positioned in a geostationary orbit through the use of a giant parabolic dish antenna located on the top of the building. This process is known as uplinking. The satellite, after receiving this signal, transmits it wirelessly to another second satellite in a nearby geostationary orbit. Now, this second satellite downlinks this telephone conversation to the telephone exchange nearest to the wife of the young man. The data from this particular telephone exchange is now transmitted through optical fibers to the nearest base transceiver antenna, which is closest to the wife of this young man. This antenna now transmits this signal wirelessly all around it, which is finally picked up by the mobile phone of the wife. And this is how a simple mobile phone conversation takes place. So now I hope you can appreciate the complexities of these systems which we rely on a daily basis and take so easily for granted. Now, if you have managed to stick around till here, then I am guessing that through this video, I have managed to pique your interest towards understanding the world of wireless technology. So why don't you stick around? Because in the next video we shall discuss even greater details about this world of wireless technology and about the world of electromagnetic waves and how it all functions. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you got something useful out of this video. Let me know in the comments below, what is the wireless device you use the most other than your mobile phone? For me, it's my watch. If you enjoyed the content, then a sub to the channel would be really helpful. I plan on continuing this tutorial series on a regular basis to help out my students with their coursework. Alright, so that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.